Hey, what is up guys? Guitar here, welcome back to another Brown Dust video. Alright, today we're gonna talk about the 6 devils. Basically, who are the best choices in the game right now for you. I'm gonna help you decide in terms of like what you actually need in your team and things like that. Alright, so it's quite expensive to recruit one of these guys. 1500 ancient coins, and since ancient coins is so rare, you like want to decide properly before proceeding to recruit them. And once you recruit them, like, it's gone. Those ancient coins are gone. You can't get them back anymore. You need time to farm them, and I'm gonna help you guys decide which is the best one for you. And yeah, just watch the entire video to find out. Alright, we're gonna start off. I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna start from the right to left. We're gonna start with Celia first, because Celia is kind of unique. She doesn't need ancient coins to be able to recruit. Alright, so in order for you to obtain Celia, you will need to fuse. Go to your mercenary section, under fusion at the bottom left, click, and then you can see Celia right here as the option. So to get Celia, you will need Astrid, you will need Gunther, you will need low rank, and you will need Elijah. Alright, so Elijah, not Elijah, that's a 4-star. So is it worth getting Celia though? In my opinion, to be honest, no. Because sacrificing Gunther, one of the best units in the game for PvE content, and sacrificing Astrid, like, Astrid is actually better than you think. I don't think most people know how strong she is. And low rank and Elijah, they might not be that strong, but those other 2 units, to obtain Gunther, you will need Ino. And to obtain Astrid, you will need Asera, right? You need Asera to form Arlos, to fuse into Astrid. So that's a lot of mileage needed just to get Celia. Now, in terms of her skills, she has one of the widest AoE range amongst all Diana mercenary units. In fact, she might actually be the widest one currently. Alright, so it hits 25 tile range, which is insane. Alright, so basically her skills has this stats weakening, minus 35%. She has healing prohibition. She is immune to attack interference skill type, and she has the ability to silence the enemies. Now, her skill set doesn't have anything that's like particularly strong. She's not meant to one-shot the opponents. She's there to annoy them, silence them, reduce their stats, and just weaken them while your remaining of your units will try to finish them off. So that's her entire purpose. So in terms of the viability of her in the meta right now, she's just not that good anymore. She used to be strong when Grand Dex was around, Grand Hilda combined with Celia, combined with Rafaela, but nowadays most people don't really use her anymore. But that's not to say that she's not usable. If you have a team that's built around her, it could work. Grand Deck is still a very solid component or units to have. Sure, you might not reach the top tier end of the arena in terms of the master rank and things like that, but with Grand Dex, I'm pretty sure you can get pretty high up as well. So yeah, just keep in mind that Celia on her own is not that strong, but in Grand Deck, she actually can do a lot. Alright, so moving on, we have Nartus. Okay, so Nartus, if you look at his range, you'll be like, wow, that is so good. That is so good, because everybody in Arena uses the one line. They put all their allies in one line next to each other. Is he good? No, he's not. He's bad. He's trash, and I'll tell you why. But first, let's have a look at his skills. Alright, so you get this Nullifier, removes buffs. You get this defense boost. You get this ultimate strike, and there's this immune to debuff. So of course, when you get higher, you have this buff prohibition as well, and this increases in terms of the ultimate strike. So the problem with Nartus is he needs to charge up, and if you place him where the opponent has one full line of attackers, warriors, most likely he's gonna die, unless you build your entire units based off protecting him. But that's not worth doing, because Foxy can do equally as much, if not as good as him. So imagine this. Instead of using Nartus in that particular row, replace him with Foxy. Foxy is a warrior, so she doesn't need to charge. That means she will hit the opponent on the first turn, and if she dies, at least she has done her role. She has hit the opponent, or at least killed off 2 enemies. Nartas needs to charge up. While charging, he is extremely vulnerable. If he dies, you basically lose everything. Like, you're betting everything on trying to get his attack to go off, but if he dies within one turn, then it's just pointless. Which is why I wouldn't recommend getting him unless you have plenty of defenders in your team, plenty of taunters. The problem is Nartas is kind of weak against taunts as well. If opponent has Seer, if he charges up and he attacks, he might just hit the Seer alone because of taunt. It's quite hard to build a proper team around him. I have encountered some Nartas which is like insane in the arena, but if you go all the way to the high ups of the arena, you would see Nartas is just not being used much at all. So yeah, 1500 ancient coins. I think Nartas is the one that you should definitely skip. I wouldn't recommend wasting your ancient coins on him at all. There's a lot of mage that can do equally as much, if not more than him. I think Velter is better than him. At least Velter can last longer in battles. I think I is better than him. I hope he'll get reworked in the future. As of this state right now, he's just very bad. Alright, so moving on to Grand Hilda. Is Grand Hilda good? Alright, let's have a look at the skills first, so we'll get to understand better. So Grand Hilda used to be very famous in Grand decks. So the Grand decks basically revolves around her trying to tank damage and trying to reflect the damage into the opponent that attacks her. So basically, what Grand Dex does is she will receive healing every single turn, and she doesn't need to do anything because of this skill right here, incoming damage times 25% reflection. So she just needs to tank as much as she can, and since all this barrier will help her reduce the damage, she's able to last extremely long, and with the taunt as well. So is she good? It's quite hard actually. She is quite solid awaken. On her own, she's actually quite tanky if you build her correctly, but I don't see why you would want to use her on her own. Like, if you are recruiting her for the purpose of trying to use her, I would highly recommend like getting the remaining of the Grand decks, which means recruiting Rafaela as well, and Celia, which is very expensive. It's just a lot of sacrifices, a lot of investment to do. So I'm not sure if it's worth going for, but if you do have her, if you plan to recruit her just for the sake of because she is pretty or whatever, I would say you will need at least a minimum of +3 to get her to your usable state. You want this times 25% reflection. Without that, it's just not so useful. But with that 25% reflection, that's going to help you a little bit to reflect some of the damage. Obviously at +6, she gets this skill as well, which is not going to make a huge difference, but at least you'll be able to deal more damage to the enemy. So yeah, the problem that she has is she's a much better choice than Nartas actually. If I have to choose between Nartas and Grand Hilda is a much wiser choice. It's like you're getting more out from your ancient coins, in my opinion. But like I mentioned, if you really want to go for her, you might as well just go for the Grand decks. There's no point in just using her as a defender in your team. And I think most people rerolled for Seer anyways, so I don't see why you will need 2 taunts in one team. If you have Seer, you have Diomeron, there's just no reason for you to get a Grand Hilda. That's just my opinion. Alright, so moving on, we have Alec. So there's a lot of debate going on between Alec or Angelica, since they are both warriors. Alec is very unique because he has this ability right here which deals fixed damage. So this is very useful against a lot of units in the PvP, in the arena, especially Lilian. So this is going to be able to hit Lilian or Archon or any units with 100% defense. So that means that he will be able to penetrate them because it deals fixed damage. So 100% defense or incoming damage reduction will not be able to help the defenders out. So he's a very rare unit to have. The permanent Bloody Anger is very useful as well. So this boosts his attack, but also increases the incoming damage that he receives. So that means he is quite squishy. Most of the time he will die to one hit. Even sometimes, occasionally, I've seen him die to just Seer or Archons. Just defenders hitting him and he still die. So you want to make sure that he's well protected if you're using him. The atrocious Wrath deals additional damage when HP is below 99%. So this is kind of a unique skill. It's quite hard to execute as well. If you have him with this skill here, the only unit that can combo with him currently is Michaela, because Michaela consumes the HP that the unit has and giving them buffs at the same time. So that way he's able to benefit from this skill. But most of the time, whenever he is hit by an opponent, 99% of the time he will just die instantly. There's no way for him to survive with just HP below 99% health, which is quite hard to get this atrocious rafting off. So yeah, if you have Alec, he's definitely very solid. In fact, he is a pretty solid unit at +0. You don't really need much investment in him. At +0, he's definitely usable. Obviously, if you can get him to +2, you get the bonus fixed damage. But at +0, if you buff him a lot, let's say if you double or triple buff him, he's gonna do decent damage. He most likely will be able to one-hit KO a lot of other units as well. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're looking for a unit that doesn't require much investment in terms of skill books, because in order for you to skill legendaries, you will need legend skill books, and those are extremely costly, 800 ancient coins. So yeah, definitely he's a unit that's usable at +0. In order for you to benefit the most out from his skills, you want to give him 2 assault runes. So fixed damage doesn't really crit, this skill cannot crit, and it cannot you cannot improve it by critical rate or crit damage. So therefore, just go with 2 assault runes, and yeah, watch him wreck everyone in the PvP. Alright, so next up we have Angelica. Alright, so Angelica is in a rather complicated state right now. Most likely, if you have asked around the experts, should I invest in Angelica? Most likely they will tell you no. And the reason is she's not meta. Alright? So, but I'm gonna tell you otherwise. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you the truth that most people don't usually tell you. Angelica is very unique, and I think she is the best choice amongst all the other 6 devils. And the reason is this: she's extremely versatile. She's used in almost all the game modes. She's very useful besides PvP. Alright, so in PvP, sure. If you're looking at the arena at the current meta right now, Angelica she's sort of bad to begin with because she only hits 1 unit. Usually she suffers because of that. When you're competing against all the other Octos or new 5-star mercenaries that is able to hit at least 3 to 4 units, you can see why she's not such a good choice in the meta right now. Also, a lot of units counters her with the release of the new Octos. She's not that strong against Mammonair. Mammonair is very tanky because they have the energy guard mechanics thing. Same goes with Valfern as well. She's still a solid unit to have in all the other game modes. I'm talking about co-op raid, I'm talking about the campaign. Evil Castle, she's definitely usable. She's definitely useful in a lot of stages. I don't know how I would have done those stages if I don't have her at all. And of course the world boss, Octot and Arcstar, I'm still using her. And is she the main damage dealer? No, but for beginners, if you don't have any other units to invest in, Angelica is actually more worth than you think. The problem with Angelica is she's pretty useless below +3. You need this skill right here, this lethal impact, to be able to benefit from dealing as much damage to bosses, opponents, enemies, etc. This skill right here can affect you winning or losing a match. Alright, this is like probably one of the strongest skill in the game because the max HP times 20% additional damage, and moreover she can actually crit as well. So that's why it's recommended to give Angelica a Fatal and Rage rune. She has decently high crit rate, and she has extremely high crit damage as well at 100%. So you want to stack those 2 stats up with 1 Fatal and 1 Rage rune for her to benefit the most out from this skill right here. So yeah, the problem with her is that if you are new to the game, you won't be able to benefit from her skill until you +3 her, and that's gonna take a while. When I first played the game, I decided to go for her as my first 6th devil. And boy, I'm glad I went for her, because until this day, I still use her a lot. Like, I'm not talking about PvP generally, right? So, as I mentioned, the meta is not going in her favor because she's a single target hero and a lot of units sort of counters her. But she's still very strong in all the other areas. She's like, what's that term? Jack of all trades, master of none? Yeah, she's that exactly, she fits that term perfectly right now. She's extremely good in campaign, extremely good in evil castle, very good in world boss. If you don't care about meta as much and you don't care about the arena, yeah, just go for her. Do keep in mind that investment is needed, so you will need additional 3 legend skill books. So 800 times 3, that's going to be additional 2400 ancient coins in your investment. So keep that in mind. Alright, so the last one is Rafaela. Okay, so Rafaela is quite strong actually. She has this very unique skill as the awakening skill called the purification. Basically removes debuff skill type applied to allies. So remove debuff is one of the strongest removal in the game, because it allows you to remove DOT, it allows you to remove attack interference, it allows you to remove stats weakening. It just removes everything. So very cool counter to a lot of annoying debuffs in the game. So this skill right here boosts 30% attack, and of course there's sort of like a reflect involved as well. So which is why she's very good if she's comboed with Grand Hilda, and then she can boost crit rate and reduces incoming damage. She's quite a heavy unit to invest in. If you want to like benefit from the best of her, you need to at least +9 her. Yeah, she's a very unique supporter, but she needs heavy investment. She's more of, she doesn't provide much in terms of supports, but she gives a lot of like reflect damage, and it's more like defensive type stats like healing, HP healing, and reduces incoming damage. So that's just not going well in the current meta right now, unless you're still going for the grand deck. If you are, then Rafi is a must for sure. You need to at least +9 her, and then combo her with Grand Hilda that's at least +3. So yeah, overall, if I want to compare with all the remaining 6 devils, she's probably the heaviest investment of all. So if you want to go for her, be ready for it. It's gonna take a long ride. You need to at least +9 her for her to be good. Alright, so overall, if you are looking for one of these 6 devils, if you don't care about the octos as much, if you want to, if your eyes is set on recruiting one of the 6 devils, in terms of priority, I would give Angelica the top priority right now. Angelica is by far the best 6 devils you can recruit right now. The best usage of your ancient coins. I'm talking about just 6 devils. I'm gonna do like another video for the octos, so stay tuned on that. But for now, if you're looking to invest in one of the 6 devils, definitely go for Angelica. So Alec at a very close second. So keep in mind, if you do invest in Angelica, she needs to be +3 at least to benefit from the max HP times additional damage. But once you have her at +3, she's so strong, you will see her carry you through multiple stages in the arena, multiple stages in the campaign, world boss, evil castle, and things like that. So Alec on the other hand is more PvP centric focused. So if you are looking for like not as heavy investment, so you can go for Alec. Alec is usable at +0. And the third one would be Grand Hilda. Narthas, Rafaela, they are just not strong. Like, I wouldn't recommend wasting your ancient coins on Narthas at all. If you want Rafaela, make sure that you try and research into grand decks. Maybe I'll make a video on it if I can find a grand deck in the PvP. I don't see them much anymore. So yeah, that concludes the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you do, subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and I will see you guys in the next one. So yeah, I'll be making one more video for the octos that can be recruited using the ancient coins. Stay tuned for that. Hopefully I'll be able to help you guys decide which is the best units to go for in terms of spending your ancient coins. As always, subscribe, give this video a like, have a nice day, goodbye.